Just answering questions with waptek, take 2. That means I did one that's tolerable in less than 15 minutes. Do you have electricity? While I'm in the dark, you can hear the echoing in the room. I was off and on homeless, mostly homeless, for 10 years. Being in a building where you cannot hear rain, the sound of wind, I'm not cold, and you can hear the echo of blank walls is infinitely better than being on the street side, hiding in a coffee shop, being in a tent, or living in a shed I'm not allowed to be in. I am indoors at a relative's home. Thank you for your concern. Yes, I have electricity. And yes, I've lived in an apartment without electricity, mostly because I wanted to see how difficult it is. And pro tip, if you're one of these people that wants to do off-grid, don't. What you do is you get grid-connected remote location. Make sure it's not legally required. You have a grid hookup. Some states and counties require it. It's not that the fix is in. It's because they have extreme weather and they don't want you to go without power and water because they don't want people dying on homesteads. And then make it off-grid capable, supplement everything to where you have backup copies, and then switch over to your off-grid stuff while you have the backup copy, as I say, like a computer geek, of power, water, sewer, and make sure you have 2 cars that are cheap. Get them insured, and when not if someone totals your car, use the other one, shut up about how it's a horrible thing that happened in this life, get another cheap car, and get rid of the old one, and use the insurance to get a new cheap car. This is from experience. This is what I'm telling you to do. It'll maintain your ability to keep maintaining your job, to keep paying your way, because you're never really off-grid. If you want to be off-grid, I'll do a video about it, but I spent 10 years off and on being homeless. Off-grid is not safe. Don't do that. Unless you really, really, really learn a lot about it. Spend 2 years learning first. I spent 10. But yeah, it's totally awesome having a little paddle wheel by a little stream and a solar panel and a wind turbine, all made out of random junk, powering your tent, and cops show up and they're like, I don't want to put you in jail. This is awesome. That was really cool, by the way. I'm not mentioning the sheriff's name or the other guy that was with him that was the trainee who was like, yes, I had Wi-Fi. Lee is pronounced Lee. It's a female version of Lee. Okay, everybody guess what the spelling is. So what did I deliberately mispronunciate? L-E-I-G-H. Lehi, or Lai, or Lehi, or Lehi. I mispronounced it repeatedly so someone would read the words. This is called psychological manipulation. No, I'm just pointing out that it is not spelled L-E-E. Why did you do that? Why didn't you spell it out? Because people ignore me when I do that. I found out they do that. But that's a good criticism. Thank you. Someone was offended. I'm just kidding. Anyway, here we go. And now, not a haiku, but a low-ku. Winds blowing hard, stationary clouds, or cloaked. Creature standing off-screen, scene bending space and time. Break the cloak of our unseen tree. Yellow body Bigfoot and an Autobot bee swarm. These are actually subcomponents and or hashtags from a YouTube channel that posted a very long diatribe instead of making a video. This person who makes videos all the time. Archive below will be TVZA6 if you want to read it. It's posted on my discussion tab, which is now called the community tab, which means it's a crippled version of the discussion tab. But apparently we can use it as a discussion tab. What was the fucking point, YouTube? I don't know what their point was. Who gives a shit? Anyway, because I posted something there, there's something to respond to. Okay, I don't have a choice. It's not like I can stop you. So anyway, I made a little low-ku for you. It goes on for blocks and blocks of data. So anyway, apparently we have a longer character limit there. Next. Headline News HLN by CNN, or a podcast, or an unofficial transcript or commentary on a blog of the podcast or of the show, because people named their podcasts after them sitting there watching the pay-per-view CNN HLN show. Down the Hill, the Delphi Murders. Season 1, Episode 1, Part 1, February 14th, 2021. Finding out what day that was by going through Reddit posts to confirm this, while Reddit blocks my copy of Firefox from ever seeing the time and date stamps. It just says last week, last Tuesdayism, or in this case, last year. Say thank you. So it was February 14th, 2021, and it was probably the Headline News HLN CNN special, Down the Hill, Delphi Murders. The trouble is, again, a bunch of people make podcasts reacting to it, and they just named it the same thing. Mostly so they could steal some thunder. At the 24-minute and 5-second mark, it is claimed by people on Reddit twice. That's all I could find. A cell tower had picked up a signal from one of the girls' cell phones in Delphi, near the Monon High Bridge. Carroll County Sheriff Tobe Leazenby, I'm not going to pronounce his name correctly, give up on it, was alerted. By 2:30 a.m., not 2 a.m., he called Tri-Township and/or Delphi Fire Chief Darrell Sterrett to tell him to resume searching in the Monon High Bridge because he'd been told there's still a cell phone active. They didn't find the phone or the girls after searching for a couple of hours. Methods they might have used. Number 1, I have experience doing tracking for a cell phone company. We'll get to that if we have time at the end of the video. But I'm going to give you what is said about this and then my own take. A cell phone ping off of a tower would just say it's within a certain radius of the tower. The more remote a location is, the further apart the cell towers will be so they can create a straight line along a highway. But it will require that they use more power to do handoff in the dead zones between so that they overlap. It's 25%, 50%, or 100%. The point is, this means they're using more electricity, more power, and the cell phone has to use more power as it gets further and further away from the antenna, and it either switches from a low to high power mode, or it does it gradually, depending on the sophistication of the phone. What would cause a ping? Anything. If a phone has something on it that needs to double check the time and date stamp, it'll do it. If it's programmed either on the firmware and hardware by the company or by an app you're using to work in low power mode, no matter what, it will then waste more battery time by doing whatever that activity is. Every time the phone is powered up, it could potentially send out a request for information, usually a request for a list of towers or variations thereof. That's not the right terminology, but I'm using what you and I can talk about and we all understand. Or the cell tower is sending out a ping, and the cell phone responds with a ping. That's why they're called a ping. This can be also induced by random object touching screen if it's a touchscreen-based phone. I would need to know the make, model, year of all of the phones involved. I don't want to hear about which specific phone, and I have this wonderful podcast you can go through for 6 hours. Make, model, year of phone. And what apps were on it. Required. Any response that includes a long diatribe and observations instead of fact only, and a source for it. I'm probably not going to trust as much. Yes, you're probably saying, you can go dig this up. Yeah, I can dig through now 4 years of people bandying back and forth. Well, it was supposed to be an Apple phone, but we think it was a Nextel phone or some other damn thing. Next, why would they need to search? Couldn't they just track the phone? A, we call the phone and hear it ring. B, it's in low power state, but it has a priority to never totally shut off, so it can be findable in the room by going tweet tweet with a low power audio. Next, what else would cause it to ping? Something touching the screen. A leaf moving across it from wind. A snowflake landing on a screen might do it. Someone touching it. Immediately someone's going to bring up that the make, model, and phone, which will be debated eventually, could not have done that because, insert set of reasons, it's only supposed to work with fingers. It's not like people use gloves. You can watch frogs playing video games on touchscreen phones by hitting it with their tongue, but somehow, no, it's not possible for it to be anything other than the killer, and he has to be some specific Boy Scout. Okay, I'll do this. At one time, a person contacted my location for Boost Mobile. I got it because I'm a care rep and Soup Q, Supervisor Q. Yeah, I'm one of those people that did that work. Hi, I don't know where I am. I can't find my way out. Have you activated Boost Looped? Basically, GPSing. Yes. Okay. Can you ping the towers? That's not how it works. I'm going to ask your phone to ping the towers, and it'll tell me your GPS if you say yes. Or you can give me permission to access the flags register. Okay. After 5 or 6 minutes of me negotiating by typing with somebody at Nextel saying, this is legit his phone, he's lost, and I have an estimate within 10 miles. It's in the middle of a fucking desert. There are 3 highways. I need to know which one to aim them at. The guy, in short term, was around 1,000 feet or less. I'm not really sure. It said 1,000 something. Could have been meters, could have been yards, could have been feet. I said, turn, I think it was northeast or northwest. Okay, start walking for 100 steps and then stop and wait 15 minutes. I saw him go bleep, bloop. Okay, you're going the right direction. Keep going for 5 times that distance, whatever the fuck it was. Is that, yeah, you should see a 7-Eleven in a highway. He'd gone out in the desert and got stuck. He's going to die. Less than a mile from a 7-Eleven. That's because the phone contacted me. When I didn't get it to give me any information, and it was wrong, by the way, by a pretty good amount. We discussed it before I hung up. I got, in the desert, a 10-mile radius. Because he had 3 or 4 cell towers, and he was right in the middle of the area there, which meant I couldn't find him correctly. No, they wouldn't have been able to find the phone, much less the girls, with just a ping. Next, I can't find the podcast except I have an archive link linking to the for-pay-only CNN, and I'm not going to list any of the podcasters that kept copying the same name. There's also a documentary with the same name that's a YouTuber-created version of the same thing, and it's all commentary about it. I do not have a transcript of this, and CNN, fuck CNN. But a cell ping would not give them the exact location. Was this actually true? I can't find proof of it. This is a transcript someone hand-typed on Reddit. I'm giving you a short version of it. I can't supply the link. It's no longer on YouTube, but there was an interview of a fire chief during the time the girls were killed saying that he was told at 2 a.m. in a call by the sheriff that Libby's phone started pinging again, but would the cold temperatures drain the battery, and would a battery be needed to ping? The cold temperatures might affect whether or not it would turn on voluntarily or be able to, but not likely. Would it cause the battery to be less efficient? In high power mode, yes. In low power mode, maybe not. There are capacitors that are also used to keep it up. Would it be required to have the battery? This is something I'm going to explain to everybody in one word. Yes. If you don't have the battery in your cell phone, it does not communicate with satellites, much less anything else, and it sure as fuck can't communicate with a tower. That's it. There are rumors on the internet that, well, they have ways. No, they don't have ways. I'm one of the people that used to do security testing on this equipment after I worked at a place that was tracking drug dealers in Los Angeles and New York with Boost Looped. That's what it was for. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it had nothing to do with you finding your friends at a party, being little, some of you remember the commercials. No, it was literally about tracking drug dealers. Yes, you've inherited a hack tool to find drug dealers. That's what it was for. Because if you got Boost Looped, it was never turned off. I wasn't accessible to it, but some were. I have very good hearing. No one will ever convince me otherwise. You can't tell me. Someone is resisting the fact that they can go listen to an audio recording and determine yes or no, did I really hear the word bitch in the down the hill video audio recording? This person has now decided it's bitch get down the hill or get down the hill bitch. But you said the noise was at the beginning, not at the end. I'm not going to help this person or allow them to post until they put up a video saying, I went through and listened to the original recording. It is the original recording. Waptek confirmed it's the original recording. And I'm not going to keep quoting an audio recording played through speakers that were badly balanced, badly matched, with one of them damaged, in a room full of people, video recording while making some noises, using cell phones and or broadcast-grade cameras. That's a bad audio source. Please use the original. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that. Please stop posting this comment.